2003, I've been documenting Rancid. My first tour with them was the Warped Tour. And now 6 years later, after capturing the behind the scenes of life on the road, along with many great live punk shows, I've been fortunate to have filmed the band as they recorded their 7th album.
Reconcile to the police, control that sacred ground for me. There wasn't always a place to go, but there was always an urgent need to belong, yeah. All these fans and all these people, all these friends, and we were equals, but what you gonna do when everybody goes on without you? To the end, I'll turn it to the end. Yes, to the end, I'll turn it to the end, to the end. To the end, to the end, I'll turn it to the end. Started in 87 and then in 89.
Rancid's 7th album follows a long history of record making, from Tim and Matt's first album over 20 years ago with Operation Ivy.
So Matt and I started playing music in high school, and we've been playing together so long, I couldn't imagine being in a serious band without Matt Freeman.
You know, Operation Ivy started in spring of 1987, and we just started like playing out as much as we possibly could.
At the very beginning of Operation Ivy, we wanted to play like the music we loved, which was punk rock and ska.
Shortly after Operation Ivy released their first LP through Lookout Records, the band decided to stop recording.
Operation Ivy broke up, and it was sort of strange, you know, it's like all of a sudden, you know, we didn't have this focus. But a few years later, then we decided to do Rancid. You know, this came about after Tim had really brought himself up from the depths of alcoholism. And he, you know, said, oh, look, I got these songs, I want to start a band.
In 1991, when Rancid was first getting going and playing shows around the East Bay, the original lineup was a three-piece. Brett Reed on drums, Matt Freeman on bass, and Tim Armstrong on guitars and vocals.
I'd met Brett Gurewitz a few times when they'd come to Gilmer Street, his band Bad Religion, and he was also the owner of Epitaph Records. And he always told me, keep me in the loop, Tim, you know, when you start something up. And he heard Rancid, he loved it, and we headed on down to LA and recorded our first record. To me, it was the world famous West Beach Studios, because that's where NoFX had recorded, and Offspring, and Bad Religion, Pennywise. And the next record we did, produced by Brett Gurewitz, called Let's Go, and Lars Frederiksen joined the crew.
Like when I joined the band, he sent me the first 7-inch and the demo tape for the record. And I remember just sitting for 3 days in my bedroom, my little boombox, learning every song. And my brother walking in, my brother says, if you don't join this band, I'm gonna kick the fucking shit out of you. This is the band that you need to be in, dude. You need to get out of Campbell, and you need to go be in this band.
And he comes to our band practice, drinking, drunk, knew the songs hella better than us.
We met Lars before the first record, but he wasn't on it. But I knew I wanted him to be in our band. Me and Lars hit it off instantly. Very quickly, we were like inseparable. And he moved up to live what we did. Didn't end up staying in the East Bay for good. Rancid's third record is Out Come the Wolves, and that was recorded in 1995, a year later. So basically in 2 years, from 93 to 95, we made 3 records, self-titled Let's Go and Out Come the Wolves.
After Out Come the Wolves, Tim decided to move out of the East Bay and down to Los Angeles to start Hellcat Records with Brett Gurewitz.
Hellcat Records, it's the greatest premier fucking number 100% punk rock label in the world. Here's a label that's like perfect fit for Rancid, for what we do, and you know, with the same attitude and the same agenda, you know, which is just creating music.
The next record that we put out was in 1998, that's called Life Won't Wait, and that was recorded everywhere. Recorded in New Orleans, New York City, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, Kingston, Jamaica.
In 2000, Rancid went back into the studio and made Rancid 5.
We went back to West Beach Studios, because West Beach to me is like the punk rock Sun Studios, man, you know? It just was legendary, and to go back and get that sound, you know, that we love.
We came in with Rancid 5, and we knew pretty much what we wanted to do, and we knew we just wanted to make it hard and fast, and just as fast and hard as we could.
The next Rancid record was Indestructible, and that was recorded in Los Angeles at Sound City and Sonora.
For the next few years after Indestructible, the members of Rancid continued to create music.
I worked with Lars Frederiksen on his solo record called The Viking. When me and Lars do his solo records, it's usually me and him sitting down, writing songs together. And then I did a Transplants record, Haunt Cities, and then I did a solo record called Poet's Life.
Now with a new drummer, Brandon Steinekert, joining the Rancid family, the band is about to drop their 7th record.
So this is it. This is the making. This is the making of Rancid 7. So come along. Here's the journey, man.
We came up with this idea to record demos in Utah because Brandon, our drummer, lives there. We stretched it over like 3 months. We did the first week of every month starting in October, November, and then December.
Yeah, we're making it right now. Okay, got it. Look for pumped.
I've had a studio down here for a few years now. I've been producing bands and learning to record. This being like my unfinished basement, we just really tore it apart. You know, it was kind of this big game room originally and kind of just set up little booths for everybody just so it's like comfortable. So we just did everything we could so that everybody had their space.
Brandon, said, hey, I got this house. There's more than enough room. I got a studio here. It's away from everything. We can come here, we can create.
Background vocal idea. Go ahead. Band is stopped out. It's just Tim and vocals now. Okay. Matt's gonna come in.
I got back to play show, then I'm off again. This is my life, living on the highway. It's all I've ever done, all I've ever known. Just want to have one more show. Make some music with my friends.
Come here.
Like the last day, play show, then I'm off again. This is my life, living on the highway. It's all I've ever done, all I've ever known. Just want to have one more show. Make some music with my friends. Everyone. One of us will bring an idea and then we kind of get together and collaborate on it. It's a team.
Right, then you guys come in.
Which song you want to jump into? You want to jump in with this Lulu thing?
Lulu thing.
And just kind of fucking just warm up with it and try different shit and
Yeah.
see what works.
Check. That sounds good.
We've been off for almost 9 months now, and it's been crazy because all I've done in that whole 9 months is anticipate right now, preparing the studio and the house, and then to finally have everybody out here. I mean, I've spent the majority of my life here in Utah, and Utah County is like my stomping ground. So it's been so cool to bring these guys here and to take them around to all the places that I grew up in. And I've followed them and the things they've done for years about Bay Area and Los Angeles and all that stuff, but to kind of bring it here to my hometown and to my home was a very exciting thing for me as a fan of the band and a friend of these guys. I was really stoked to just be able to share all that.
I'm gonna pick up the notebook to document my travels, to explain where I've been, talk about where I'm going, and hopefully they turn into new Rancid songs, Get the lyrical process going forward, This is my main rig right here. So I play this country club Gretsch through the Mesa Boogie triple, and I've been playing the Mesa Boogies going back since Operation Ivy because that's my sound. I like the way Mesa Boogie's overdrive without any need for any kind of auxiliary boxes. My studio setup and my live setup is basically the same. It's the same thing. When we're in the studio, we try to capture what we do live. Because that's what we've been doing since we were kids, is playing live, right? So we want to capture that. So my Mesa Boogie has 3 channels. Clean channel. Channel 2, a rhythm channel. Most of the Rancid records on this channel. Third channel is my lead channel, and that's full of solos. the studio, I'll use different amps. Majority is the Mesa Boogie. The guitar, 90% is the Gretsch Country Club. So this is my Gretsch right here. It's 3-ply maple, top, back, and sides, which makes it very strong. Maple is very vibrant and it resonates. You know, I play a lot of 7 chords, a lot of minor, a lot of thirds, and it's to me, it's almost like a piano. You know, it's very clear. I can hear the chords, hear the notes. Another interesting thing about this guitar is that the neck is connected to the body, which was unique to the Baldwin era Gretsch, is 1971 Gretsch. A lot of Gretches, the neck is extended and hangs over like what you'd see in a violin. Gretsch used to make violins back in the day. The fact the neck is connected to the body, I think, is the main reason why my guitar doesn't feed back, you know, especially on a big stage. My Gretsch rarely feeds back, unless I wanted to. I own a lot of guitars, and some are left-handed, but this one is actually right-handed. As you can see, there's no cutaway right here. All the controls are on top. You know, it's a right-handed guitar. All this is supposed to be down here. But it's a trade-off, man, because it's such a great sounding guitar. I mean, there's none of my guitars come close to sounding as full body and as great as this guitar. Another thing I do is I turn the front pickup off, so it's permanently off. It becomes my on and off switch. I like to keep my guitar low, you know, like my heroes. I remember seeing Dee Ramone play. That's the way I want to play. I think when they created this guy, I think they were envisioning maybe Chet Atkins sitting on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry. I don't know if they had me in mind, me dragging it across the stage at a Rancid show. But man, let me tell you, I love it just the same.
Okay. You don't have to stay here either. We can move up. All right. I'm getting it.
You ready?
Safe.
All right.
All right, Tim.
The lyric sheet, difficult to read if you're not me. I don't even think my mom could read my lyric sheets. And this is what they look like, and I'll go through the line. She stands by her family. There's no harmony, just history. Her name tag reads employee. It's not a comedy, it's a tragedy. Okay? The middle class break up. The working class better wake up. America has been dreaming. Thieves stole our country. Lulu is the name of the song.
Right to the bridge, right?
That's what the sign said. I'll welcome everyone. I want everyone to stay. And I'll travel to my very last day. From the New York harbor to the San Francisco Bay.
Lulu is a song about the American working class and how we feel like the American working class has been left behind and forgotten. Rancid is always identified with the working class people because that's where we come from. That's part of our history.
That's my favorite.
And this is our take on what's going on right now in America.
So when I go in to do a record, you know, Rancid record, I just bring the same setup that I use on stage. Got an Avalon DI, and then the bass goes into that, and then you can take a direct signal out of the Avalon, and that has a really good tone. And then it goes into the amp here. This is my main amp right here, SVT 5 Pro. There's 2 channels going on here. There's like distorted channel, and then like a clean channel. And I usually get one tone with both channels, and then I keep that the entire show or recording. It's just sort of my sound. It's like I set it up and it's done. All this is just basically hooked up to SVT 810 cabinet.
And this one is actually Life Won't Wait vintage. And I've been playing these cabinets forever. But on stage, usually it's just one amp going through one cabinet. So the bass I'm playing is my old 1977 Fender P bass, which I've had since, I don't know, 1987 when I was in Operation Ivy. This is actually the first P bass I ever bought. I paid $400 for it. You know, I played a lot of basses over the years live, but when it comes to recording, this is what I always come back to. It doesn't have any stickers on it past 1990, probably 91. I used to say 93, but I think it's 91 because this is an old Rancid sticker, 91, 92. And then I got the NBC Multi-Death Corporation sticker, and then I took some stickers off here, and I got this James Bond one right here. And that's actually, I cut that out of a magazine that put tape over it, and it stayed forever. Here's me trying to draw ska checkers on it. Didn't really work. Somewhere around this area, me and Armstrong carved Operation Ivy in it when I first got it, but it's since been covered up with stickers. But I've never moved the pickups either. They're sort of like sunken deep in there, and that's just sort of the way that where they stay, which is sort of cool. These knobs, pretty much the original, it's pretty much original. And things, you know, built tough.
Week 3 in Utah at Brandon's house. I think the weeks have gotten more productive. I think we're up to 10, 12 songs.
Fish out of water! Fish out of water!
So Brett's getting all these songs we've been recording, been going over them. I guess he's taking notes, trying to figure out what he can contribute to them.
Out come the wolves in the lunar light. Fight or flight, you're wrong, I'm right. Talk to me straight, man, but be polite. You see, you hear my scream, cause this wolf bites.
The chorus of I Ain't Worried is, I ain't worried about a goddamn thing. I hear them talking, I listen in. And that's basically us saying, you know what? We're gonna make our own decisions, do what we wanna do, and we don't give a damn. 1, 2, 3, 4.
After 3 weeks of writing demos together, Rancid was ready to start recording for the new album. The plan was to pack up from Brandon's studio in Utah and head to Northern California to meet up with producer Brett Gurewitz. The recording studio was about 30 minutes away from the East Bay, Rancid's home.
Right now, Jordan's unloading on the drums and putting new heads on everything. And we're setting up the kit to be mic'd up. First day, loading.
This is Skywalker Ranch scoring stage. Small little room we have here. The room is 80 feet by 60 feet and with ceilings of 30 feet, and it has adjustable acoustics with panels in the walls and the ceilings.
You can see that the walls are adjustable. So if this thing is pulled out, then the room will have one kind of a sound. And if this thing is pushed in, then the room would have another kind of a sound. Because this is a reflective surface, and this is an absorbent surface. So right now we have the room kind of tuned to a dead sound.
Yeah. You want to go that room?
First day at Skywalker Ranch. Return of the Jedi, Rancid.
This sounds. Yeah, that's
how that sounds.
That's the
Loving
shit
it.
right there, and the snare should match that, which I'm sure it will.
Yep.
Brett Gurewitz, our longtime producer and friend, is producing this record.
The goal over these 3 weeks is to record the bulk of the album and get basic tracks, which means drums, bass, and a couple rhythm guitars with a guide vocal for every song, and head back to LA with that under our belt so that we can then proceed to record lead vocals and overdubs and those sorts of things.
Hey Matt, try that.
Just basic 2 guitars. All sound really cool, like really good scratch sounds, and now we're just kind of fine-tuning the drums. And it's actually better for us to do it while you guys are playing music than just having like, hitting a snare, hitting a kick,
So we're gonna just kind of have fun and jam around, is that cool?
Exactly, jump around, play your song.
We had to narrow down how many songs were going to actually go on the record. And for us as a writer, it's very difficult. You love all your songs. That job was Brett Gurowitz's job. So Brett went through and he picked the songs. Had to cut maybe 10 of them. And I trust Brett as a producer. He knows.
Highwayman. LA River. Lulu. Just for Tonight. Love Song for New Orleans. That's Just the Way It Is. You Don't Mind. I Ain't Worried. These are all the ones I would do.
So should we just go from the top? Sure. It's the first song on the list. LA River.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Stand by. Rolling. That's always been my Rancid tone, where I have it right there.
This is the stock Epiphone, just like my last one. My last one was stock, and nothing got changed. I think the band paid $400 for it. My original white Les Paul was given to me when we were playing with Sick of It All, and I used that guitar on every record I ever done. I normally play SGs live because they're a little bit lighter. And I've always had a Marshall JCM 900. All my favorite guitar players, whether they were in oi bands or punk bands or whatever it was, they always had a Marshall Les Paul. Steve Whale being the first guy I saw punk rock do that, and I loved his sound. So that's one of the reasons why I did that. And my favorite rhythm is probably, this kind of thing, because I think it really sits in the pocket with the drums. Because I like to play to the drums. Because if you're tight with the drums on a rhythm guitar thing, then it leaves so much room for everybody else to kind of put in their thing.
You were talking about maybe doing guitars first?
Yeah, we could do like you, then Lars, then Matt. With punk rock, right, you've got tuning issues, right? Because everyone's playing as hard as they can all the time. So if you get the guitar sounding like in tune and like really zinging together left and right and big, then what'll happen is the bass player will play to it and he'll play in tune, just like you do live. You know what I mean? If you hit too hard, you're sharp. If you hit too soft, you're going to be flat, and you'll hear it. You'll naturally play in tune, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, as you know, in the old days, we'd do the drums, we'd do the bass. Well, it's just the drums and bass, and we're not even listening to the guitars. You can't tell if you're in tune, because it's only yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Then we put on the guitars and be like, oh, fuck, why does it sound out of tune? And then we'd figure out it was out of tune with the bass, and then we'd redo the bass. So by putting the guitars on first, it seriously eliminates 90% of tuning problems.
Because we've never really done that before. I like that idea.
Yeah, I started doing that on Empire Strikes First. What?
Empire Strikes First, dude.
I know.
So this kit I'm using now, kind of my Frankenstein kit I put together for a demoing. We're using a maple kick drum that Orange County just made me. They actually reinforced the outside head with extra plies so that Tim could like jump up on the kick drum while we're playing, and the drum wouldn't just collapse and crush underneath him. I'm not actually using the Mater toms with this kit. I'm actually using some acrylic toms I have from Orange County. They're my favorite out of all the ones I have. They're the warmest, they have the most tone, they tune well. I've also got a little 10-inch acrylic snare that they've made for me, and also like a little timbali. So this setup is just my recording setup. I like to play with a much simpler setup live. I don't use splash cymbals, I won't use the extra snares. I use one less floor tom. I like a real basic kick snare, rack tom, floor tom setup live. I play Vader sticks, Power 5Bs to be exact, with nylon tips. I find with wood tips, I always break the tips and they flatten, and I hate that. So I use nylon tips, and Vader's sticks, the tips actually stay on. I always like to mess with different cymbals. I have like live cymbals, studio cymbals, you know, because some of the thicker, harder cymbals tend to be a little too brittle for live, and I'll break them too easy. So I have to be more particular about what I use live. But in the studio, I can kind of switch things out, you know. Right now I'm using a new kind of cymbal that Zildjian's making, the hybrid Ks, and I kind of love them. And then I'm using an A projection ride, which that's all I ever use. I love that ride. My hi-hat, I use just the Zildjian A newbie top hi-hat, but a master sound bottom. I like the way the combination of the two sound. It's nice and crisp for closed hi-hat stuff, but nice and trashy and washy for open hi-hat stuff. So it's a good balance between the two. I have to use an extra long rod for my hi-hat stand so that I can raise my hi-hat higher. I like to have it as high as possible. When I'm sitting in my kit, my hi-hat's almost to the top of my shoulder. It gives me room to play, forces you to be more physical with the way you play too.
Live room, you know what I mean? Feels good. The song's been awesome. And I always panic because I always think sometimes that like when we're demoing stuff, like, oh shit, it needs to be better, you know, like you think that or whatever. And then you get in here and of course it gets better. And not only because we're playing better or whatever it is. We got Brett Gurewitz and then the new ideas that come out.
I grew up in, that's right. That's right. I love it.
That's what it is.
Okay. That's cool. Okay. Great.
He's like the fifth Rancid member, you know what I mean? We say that, you know, we don't use that term loosely, but it's true. He is. It's like working with one of your heroes, him being in Bad Religion, being a #1 punk rocker, Supremo, and to have him be here on this record's awesome. And producing, he's got great ideas, and he knows how to get the best performances out of all of us. We have a long history with him, starting from Let's Go, and then Out Come the Wolves he worked on, Life on Wait he worked a little bit on, Rancid 5 he worked on, Indestructible. You know, he's our guy. You know, being back with Brett is always awesome, and it's such a great vibe to be around him, and you know, he's smart and handsome.
We go way back, real comfortable with each other. You know, I'm a fan of their band, they're a fan of my band. You know, I'm a fan of what they do. They like my production arrangement. So we just we gel, and so I throw in ideas, and they either reject them or accept them. We bounce ideas around. It's a creative thing. It's a creative thing, kind of like you do in your own band. So I'm the producer, but we're kind of just old friends working on songs and trying to figure out what's best for the song.
Saturday, we've been here since Monday. We've done 16 drum tracks, and we're gonna start putting all the guitars and bass on them. So right now we're in this transitional period where we're building boxes to put the basic guitar amps so we can do that.
Right now we're doing guitar and bass overdubs. Overdubs being we've already recorded the drum take we like and stuff, or we're gonna go back and record guitar parts over it. It's actually a lot easier if we have the guitar player or bass player here with us. So what we do is we bring their amps, the actual heads, in here, and then we run speaker cable out to the speaker in the room so we can still put mics on the speaker and they can sit in here and play right with us.
Yeah, listen to that one.
Basically, we're at the end of week 3 up at Skywalker, and we're actually, believe it or not, ahead of schedule. So what we kind of doing with the extra time now is kind of letting the band have a little fun. They're kind of in a zone right now with writing. You know, most people sometimes they'll write for a year and get all the songs together and come here, and then they will, you know, record it all. These guys will just sit down and write a song, sometimes in 2 minutes, you know, 10 minutes. And what they've been doing is coming in at night and sitting out there just kind of in a circle, writing the song. And then the next morning, Brett comes in, checks it out, see what we did, what we recorded acoustically, and then decide which songs we want to try going for electrically for the records. So it's kind of now a assembly line process. It's, you know, they write it, come in the next morning, record it, track the overdubs to it, and then the next night write some more songs and repeat the process.
Everything about it, the fact that it has like a large verse, that it has a big like a big catchy memorable chorus.
Yeah.
You know, disconnected, you know, from the country that I love. It's like a beautiful poetic way of saying that, hey, I'm a patriot, but I fucking hate this war. We pretty much finished everything we set out to do, which was to track guitars, bass, and drums. And after all was said and done, the band wrote about 6 or 7 new songs. So the record's kind of growing and getting better. And so the next phase is head back to LA, and we're gonna do the next 3 weeks at Tim's house.
So then we went back to my studio and recorded keyboards and piano and B3 with Vic Ruggiero. Vic's been recording with us since Life Won't Wait, and these are homeboys from the Slackers.
We have some really, really fantastic music and noisemakers over here. The Moog, we got the Wurlitzer electric piano, which is standard, beautiful, nice sound. This Fox Jaguar, some demented Farfisa that I've never seen before. It looks like something out of Battlestar Galactica.
Check that.
And then we went to Joe Breezy's studio and did some more vocals. And then we went to Sound City.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And we had Booker T come in, Booker T and the MGs, and play Hammond B3 on a ska song called Up to No Good. And that was a highlight, one of the highlights of the record for sure, man. Legendary Booker T. Damn. We finished the record, the whole record. The record's done. So we had an idea to record all the songs, or as many as we could, acoustically, because they were written acoustically. It just seemed like a cool thing to do.
The acoustic sort of started out as a few tunes, just working out sort of different versions, different ideas. Because I think, like, from the original demo sessions, there were some different ideas that ended up on the electric record, and wanted to kind of work them out in a different way, and sort of became the entire record in acoustic versions. They range from a little bit different to very different, and it's just different ideas that they had before, or ideas that we came up with as we were doing it, like sort of expanding the idea of the songs.
So we had begun recording this acoustic record in LA at Tim's place. But then our first tour came up in the States. So we had to break out and go do 4 weeks of tour in the South. But it was cool because it really didn't stop us. You know, we'd record in the hotel rooms in New Mexico. We were recording in our hotel room 1110. We'd kind of sit down, almost the same approach as when we were making the record. You know, we'd all sit down with the acoustics and, you know, the pair of sticks, and kind of go through the song and talk about what we were feeling for it. Then we got back from tour and we kind of picked up where we left off.
Got a busy day. We're going to be doing a lot of overdubs on the acoustic record. We got Matt Hensley from Flogamali coming in, play a little accordion.
We had Frenchie come in and play blues harp through a Fender amplifier. We we've got Rocco coming in, he's a solo artist, and he's gonna play some Dobo acoustic guitar.
You know, the majority of this record was written on acoustic guitars and sounding like this at first, and then we amp it up, and that's what you hear on the record, so it's kind of cool. Now you hear both versions. And just shows you another side to this band and what it's capable of, you know.
Every record we make documents where we're at, you know, whether it's the first record or Let's Go, and this one it definitely is no different.
You know, whatever comes out of us, you know, whether you like it or not, it's us, and it's honest, and I think that's what it really comes down to is, you know, we try to be honest with ourselves and honest with everybody.
As a filmmaker, I've been able to document Rancid in many settings, from life on the road to life in the studio. And what I've always noticed is their ability to keep a no-compromising attitude when it comes to their music. But above all else, I've seen them stay true to each other as bandmates and as friends, which to me makes them a great punk rock band.
Rachel, are we finished? That's it, Rachel says we're done. I guess we're done. From the Rancid Punks, thanks for watching. See you in the pit.
Another East Bay night. East Bay night. East Bay night. East Bay night. When the sun goes down and the night come around and the bar come a-rolling in. When you catch the line to go dance one time and an open bat you in. Hear a punk rock song and we sing along. Everything gonna be alright. Another East Bay night. East Bay night. East Bay night. East Bay night. Well, grandma stands on the very same land on the old house up on the hill. You can see the San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz over the landfill, and reminisce on the front porch.